Today we're going to take Krispy Kreme to school. So to get things started, all of my measurements here are going to be in grams using a kitchen scale. So if you don't have one, I really recommend you get one. I'm just not a fan of using measuring cups and teaspoons and stuff to measure things because it's not very accurate and it dirties more dishes. So this is my preferred method. I also only made a half batch in this video, but what I'm going to say and what I'm going to put in the description is going to be for the full batch. So ignore what you see and just use what I'm telling you. So since we're making cake donuts, we're not going to use all-purpose flour. We're going to use cake flour. It has a little less protein content and it's going to make our donuts more cakey. But in a pinch, you can definitely use all-purpose flour. We're going to combine 270 grams of that into a sieve over a bowl. We're going to sift all of our dry ingredients to remove any lumps that they may have. We're also going to add in our 2 teaspoons or 9 grams of baking powder along with our 6 grams or 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. Once that's all sifted, I do love to add a touch of freshly ground nutmeg. I'm just going to use a microplane and grate in a few seconds worth. Be careful with this as nutmeg is a really strong spice. Once you have your dry ingredients ready on the side, we're going to combine our wet ingredients into the bowl of our stand mixer. You can definitely do this in a bowl with a whisk, but I am way too lazy for that. In goes 100 grams of sugar along with 30 grams of room temperature softened butter. We're going to cream those together for a few seconds until they're combined. Now add in your 2 egg yolks and once again mix until well combined until you have this beautiful ribbony texture. Now we'll take our dry ingredients along with 150 grams of sour cream and we'll alternate putting them in bit by bit until everything is combined. Just like cake batter, be careful not to overmix this dough because you don't want to work too much gluten into it to make the donuts tough. You want your end result to be pretty sticky, but I think my dough is too sticky here, so I added 40 grams more flour and then combined that. We'll be able to add more flour later, so don't worry too much about perfection here. Last but not least, our frozen and then thawed blueberries. I started with 280 grams, but I only used about 200 grams. You can add blueberries to your liking here. You definitely don't want to mix these in the stand mixer. You want to use a spatula and just fold them in so you don't break them up too much. Just make sure that each blueberry gets coated in the dough so it's stuck in there, and just make sure everything looks cohesive. We're going to transfer everything to a covered container and refrigerate it until everything's cooled, so about 30 minutes to an hour. This is not a yeasted dough, so we don't have to wait for anything to rise. We just want all of our ingredients to be the same temperature from the refrigerator. Next, you're going to fill a deep pot like a cast iron or a Dutch oven with enough oil to fry in. I just get high enough to reach my candy thermometer. Go ahead and heat your oil to 350 Fahrenheit or 180 C. Now to prep our donuts, we're going to put our chilled dough onto a well-floured, clean work surface. I could tell my dough was way too wet and sticky, so I'm applying a bunch of flour over and underneath it to make it more workable. I actually prefer doing this over putting the exact perfect amount of flour initially into the dough, because 1, that would risk over-flouring and making your dough too dry, but 2, I realized that doing it this way actually puts a thick outer coating of flour around the dough, that once you fry it like this, it's going to make the outside a lot more crispy and keep the inside moist and chewy. Remember, you can always add flour, but you can't take any out. Since this isn't yeasted dough, it's not going to rise, so don't roll it out too thin. I would say about a ½ inch thick. If you have donut cutters, you can use those, but I just use a well-floured large cup and a lid of a spice container and they work fine. Get as many donuts and donut holes as you can. And this dough is great because you can re-roll it out and you don't have to wait for it to rise back and relax like yeasted dough, so you don't really lose quality with the re-rolled donuts. Do be careful with these because they're very delicate until you can get them into the oil, so keep them floured and always pick them up with 2 hands. Once the oil is at temperature, I would fry about 2 to 3 donuts at a time. Again, be careful lowering into the oil, 1, to not burn your hands, but 2, to not break the donuts. So just be gentle and take your time. Once they rise to the top, just keep them from touching each other and agitate them every once in a while. I cooked each donut for about 3 minutes total, but I flipped every 45 seconds or so just to make sure each side was getting browned evenly. If you keep your oil around 350, they'll be done when the outside is pretty well browned, just not too brown, something like this. Let them cool on a wire rack while you cook the rest of the donuts and donut holes. Remember, the donut holes are going to cook a lot more quickly, so keep an eye on them. Now while everything's cooling, we're going to make our glaze, which we need a hot liquid for. I'm using whole milk, but you can get away with water. I just prefer the taste with milk. You won't need too much, but I put about a ¼ cup into a pot just to make sure I have enough. I'm just warming it over medium-low heat for a few minutes, not boiling it, just maybe a small simmer with a couple bubbles. Meanwhile, we're going to sift out 200 grams of powdered sugar, as well as a small splash of corn syrup, maybe a teaspoon or 2. This makes the glaze extra shiny, and a small splash of vanilla extract. To bring our glaze together, we're going to add bit by bit of our liquid and whisk together. It doesn't take much, just be careful not to overdo it. I do like my glaze a little on the runny side so it keeps a thin layer around the donut. For reference, this is what it looks like for me. Finally, I like to apply my glaze with the help of a chopstick. We're just going to add each donut in and flip it around until it's covered in glaze. Make sure you get the sides, let the excess drip off for a few seconds, and then put it back on the rack. And then just wait about 15 to 20 minutes to let everything set, and then it's time to enjoy. The vanilla milk is absolutely essential. I have before me maybe the most delicious plate that I could dream up, personally. I love donuts in general, but I absolutely adore the blueberry cake donut, at least the ones that I've had at Krispy Kreme and other local donut shops. And unfortunately, I just went to Krispy Kreme to pick up one of these donuts, but they were out for today. But trust me, I've had plenty enough of those to memorize the taste, so I know what we're gonna be up against. I have to start with the goat donut, the blueberry cake donut. I do like your light and airy glazed, traditional donut, but there's just something about the density and the craggly texture of these cake donuts that is just to die for. So I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna go right in. It's got some heft to it and I just can't wait. Okay, one more. Okay, first things first, that has definitely dethroned Krispy Kreme. I did not think it would be easy, but that is amazing. I've made donuts a number of times in the past, but sometimes I just have mishaps with the oil temperature or just the amount of cooking time and with the dough. But these just came out perfectly. I'm so impressed. It tastes so fresh. Like I said, the density of that bite is just something to crave. You can definitely taste the freshness of the blueberries, even though I use frozen ones. I think it would be a comparable result if you use fresh ones. But compared to the restaurant, this is much better. The vanilla and the glaze, it adds that extra something that you might not recognize, but it's there. I don't think Krispy Kreme uses that in theirs, and that makes a difference here as well. It's perfectly tender on the inside, and the outside has that crisp bite that you want, in addition to the glaze, which is also crispy. And as a side note, I would say don't be afraid to make your glaze a little more runny. In the past, I've just been really conservative with the amount of liquid I put in there, and it's come out really thick. And it kind of really gets caked around the edge of the donut and kind of overtakes it. But this glaze has run off underneath into the rack that I had underneath it, and it just leaves the perfect amount of sugar on the outside for the perfect bite. I'll be honest with you here, I was not expecting there to be much of a difference between these donuts and the ones you can get at Krispy Kreme. I wasn't expecting to want to ever make these again just because of the work that you have to put in when you can just go to the drive-thru and pick something up. But I really think this is worth the effort, and I'm definitely gonna be doing this again. I don't know how often, but this came out high and above the expectations that I had for it, so I'm really happy. And how about something I've never had before, and that's a blueberry cake donut whole. I'm so glad I didn't make the full batch this time because I'm gonna destroy this whole thing. But anyway, I hope I'm able to share this recipe with someone that's going to try it, that has the same love for this type of donut that I do. And if you do, let me know in the comments, or let me know what else you'd like to see me try, like testing a recipe or making my own recipe to share. Leave that in the comments as well. But otherwise, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.